Okay, got another box open up here today. Just got done putting all my heads away for a little while. Got a couple of those 16 panheads in the way. I have to figure out what to put on them junk ass heads. Not here. Alright, I think this has the cases in here, but I'm not sure. Let's see what we got in this box. They're here a day early. Who they came from. Let's see here. Cut down box. Flap doesn't move over. Oh yeah, set of cases. Virgin. Top and line like brand new. Almost no rust or corrosion on them. Only missing a couple pieces. Unload. Oh, I broke them. No parts though. Ooh, a dual point distributor. Appears to have a cavity issue. I know they're 55 because it has that. It's got a dual point in it. That's 61 and later, I think. 60, maybe 60, definitely 61. It's got the oil thing in there, but that's 52. I think that came out, so that doesn't help us. It's 53 because it's got oil holes in it for hydraulic lifters, so that's 53 for sure. The distributor doesn't work. There's no gear on it. Doesn't appear to be broken anywhere that matters. Broken. I'm going to break the stud off. Takes a hard oil line. So, what actually year are these things? Hard to read. It's that year right there. Alright, well, it's hard to read corrosion. So these are a new motor build. So this is not going to be for a street bike because there's no VIN number on it. So that means it goes in stuff like these race bike motors I got laying in the back there. We build these out of junk parts. So for SCTA land speed racing, you have to use Harley Davidson cases and heads to run a vintage motor. So that means we take one of these heads I got laying around over here. Like one of these. You go in here and make lots of changes, like that guy was doing. You put some kind of a big ass bore on this thing, because you're welding anyway. Then you take a big chunk of these heads like that you got to do a lot of work to, and you put a big bore on this motor. You build yourself a big motor. So last month they had a guy that ran, or last month, 2 months ago, last race, they had a guy at a knucklehead that went 148 mile an hour, I think, with a big inch motor. So that record was on, that was from Jim Butt back in 84 or 86 he had that record from, so they just broke it. So, okay, someone broke the record. Time to go out and break his record now. We like to leave records that have been there for a long time, so there's plenty of classes to race on besides those. So that's a good motor to get put a big ass bore on it. You know, you can do a 4 1/4, something big. Put your panhead top in on it, put a big crank in it. Depending on what class he was in, it's either a 102 inch limit, or it's a 124 inch limit, or 183 cubic inch limit. So this motor here, you'd be doing a big motor. These cases are junk. So this is going to be a 124 or a 150 incher. Big as you can go with a stock, you know. Whatever you think you can get away with putting a cylinder on the top of that head, that's how big you go. So you can do 4 1/4 probably on a panhead head if you push it. Probably that's about the outer limit without really getting stupid. I would never get stupid, but and you throw a 5 1/4 crank behind it, and you're gonna have a 140 or 50 cubic inch motor. Yeah, that's how you do that. Those are the kind of cases you use for that because it's obviously they're blown up. You're not going to use those oil galleries again. You know, these galleries are in here, so you ain't using them. So we know those are going to be 50. These are 62 and earlier because of that galleries are in there. 63 didn't have that. So this is the kind of stuff you build some motor out of that you don't care about. Or you can go, you know, you can put a stock size motor, get a little straw crank in it, run that class, or you might as well do some bore in your playing. But anyway, I'll make some decisions on what I'm going to do with it. For now, it needs to be blasted and cleaned up and see how bad it is, see if there's any other cracks. There's no noticeable cracks I can see, so it didn't break a rod. There's no evidence of rod breakage. I'm not sure how they would have broken this motor like this. This was cut here to get the VIN number out, I bet. Is that broken? No, that's a fracture. It looked like a cut right here, though, but when I blast it, I'll see for sure. It could have been an accident and just they hit the cylinders and just broke the whole top end right off, just cleared it right off the whole motor. That's possible. I'm trying to think how else you would break it, because otherwise it had to lock up the top end without doing anything on the bottom. Usually when you got parts of pistons running around, it leaves some kind of a mark in there, but after I clean it, I'll see if there's any evidence of that. But for now, I'm not seeing any evidence of explosion from the inside going out. This looks like a breakage issue. You got hit real hard on the left side and went that way with it, because this was a breakage like that probably. Be my guess. I don't know. No VIN number. Makes it hard to use on the street. Alright, well, we'll figure it out. You're supposed to have this boss right here. That part's missing. Yeah. This part here's not here. Amazing how that worked. Gone. But, oh well. We'll see what happens. Alright, I'm going to go clean up a little bit and see what year this thing is. Okay, so here's what they look like cleaned up a little bit. So it's a 55 mold. It was cast at 4/61. So that makes it a 61 case, and it's either a really, really late 61 bike or it's an early 62 bike. And the serial numbers are 62, so it's a 62 bike. They machined it in 62, January of 62, so that's going to be a 62 model. So that means they ran almost the whole year. They had these cast ahead of time. Okay. And this is definitely not cut. It was broken. You can see the fracture mark where it just broke it clean off. So there's no damage on the inside of these cases at all. I don't see any damage anywhere. No evidence of anything running around in here. No bad parts. Everything looks good. The case insert is flush, which means it's not loose, which is good. So I don't really see anything wrong with this motor except the top of the cylinders are gone. And I could probably weld that all back up and make it stock again. These are nice cases. Been a little beating banging over here on something. I don't know what that's all about. I'd probably weld that back up and smooth it up, make it look good again. So yeah, pretty clean break there. That's weird. Okay, so the other side, same deal. I don't see any breaks, no cracks. Like like the crack down here between the bearing surfaces, going up through the lifter blocks. There's no cracks, no stress fractures, no evidence of anything in here. There's a little bit of a couple marks inside of that, but that's about it. It's pretty smooth. But it has had some stuff on it. You can see the groove in there a little bit. So it's had a couple something in there, but nothing serious. Exhaust is not even rubbed that deep in there. So yeah, it looks pretty damn nice. Like I said, I bet you this is a crash bike. Alright, so this is a 58 casting here. This one was cast in 10 of 60. So that's a year before this one. This was 4 of 62, 64 of 61. So that's 6 months before this one. Or that's 6 months after this one. So this is probably going to be a 61 bike. Yep, still got 62 on it. Still 62, 162. Now what gets me all these damn VIN numbers when you look at these, why are these really light and these are real deep? Also look at the size of the fonts different. That tells me this is, they stamped this number and then they stamped this number after the fact. Now this has not been buffed down, it's even all the way across, so it's not a restamp. It's like Harley pre-made these. You know, when they put the VIN number on the case, they probably put this number in here, but that's not how this is supposed to be. These cases are supposed to be matched to in groups of 10s, how they should be. They machine them all at once, 10 cases at a time. That's what I was always told. So there's 10 cases that have the same tooling numbers on it. It was the same setup, same jig, same tools. Cut 10 cases and they redid everything. All new tooling again. So theoretically 10 cases should be the same. So this one is same number, 3276. But look at the font change. Same deal, real deep, real small, real big. This is not, it's not undercut. Casting feels pretty much identical. It's hard to make round surfaces straight and true, and this feels like it's as cast. So the only thing I figure is it was stamped later on. It's weird. Maybe it was a replacement set for another set of cases, and they just had them pre-made, and then they stamped their number on it after. But like I said, these should be all the same group, as far as I know, is how they were made. But usually when I see this stuff here, you can feel differences in the case finish, and it's not even. This one here, it feels like it's original, but definitely you can tell the difference in numbers. You know, those are real faint and real heavy. Same on this side. I don't know. To me, that always looks suspicious, but I don't know. Either way. So I could weld all this up and save these cases, put another VIN boss up in there. You would definitely tell it's been welded. It's not original, but you have to really get fancy to hide that, but it could be done. So this side here, obviously, you have to regenerate these holes, which is going to be interesting to do. Look how thin that case material is. It's only about 30 thou wall thickness there in that hole. Oh, that is thin. Yeah, if I had to guess, it got hit this way and just sheared off. Something happened here. I don't know what it. Whether the motor was on a workbench and it fell over and knocked the cylinders off, or it was in a wreck, I don't know. Something hit it hard on the top to break these off. There's no evidence of anything in here being ever broken. I do see evidence of the crank pin hitting here, which is not supposed to do. So that's not a good sign. Look how even it is all the way around, but you know, it is spinning in a circle. So that's evidence of a bad crank. You know, Timken bearing over there loose. Letting everything slide over and it's eating itself up a little bit. You know, I've seen those Timken bearings come loose before, so that's possible. That's the only damage in the case. That's it. And that's basically cosmetic because it doesn't do anything. It's clearance. I didn't blast these threads to see if there's any damage in them, but from what I can see, they look good. I don't know. Oh well, it is what it is. Project to do something with, so those cases in a few years will be worth about 5K, so is it worth fixing them for 5K to stock or just making race bike parts out of them? I don't know. I already got 3 or 4 race bike motors up there to build and have cases like that already in them, but who knows? I'll figure out what I want to do with them. Oh well, that's it for that. It's midnight. Time to call early night. There we go.